setup pieces. So welcome again. You're here for 30 minutes slow flow yoga. I'm Jen. Yoga blocks or light dumbbells, for the most part, can be used interchangeably. However, if you do have a yoga block, I'm going to invite you to have that near you when we start laying on our back. We're going to do a little shoulder exploration laying from our side. And I actually like having a little bit of space between my knees early on. Certainly not a requirement. And you could even use a small little pillow instead. But with that said, we're just going to move and get a little stretchy and hopefully soothing on this practice. So I'm going to start music and we'll connect in as we do to lie on our back. So, as promised, we'll spend a little time checking in with our spine, our shoulders. We'll do some dynamic movements today where I hope you can just kind of feel sensation and openness in your body. Hi, Joanna. And as you come to lie on your back, as your body feels ready, the invitation as you come to settle in, whether you're finding some movement to help you arrive or stillness, maybe you let your eyes close. And I know really often we start practice by, considering, how are you? But really letting that be just a moment to own your own internal response to that question. How am I? I find in so many spaces where I've existed and still do professionally, otherwise, that simply being able to name how you are in a present moment without the niceties or the I am fines, I find sometimes just clears the space to move forward from there. So taking that moment to acknowledge, how are you? Whatever version of you is showing up today, it's welcome here. You don't have to pretend. Let this practice serve what you need physically, emotionally, mentally, maybe sealing in some of that thought of how you are with a little bit of deeper breath. And I'm going to keep my eyes closed and just start to sway my knees a little side to side. I have my arms rested by my body and just kind of creating this almost wave of really subtle movement just to seal in this contact with the floor. Maybe you start to lift the legs up and continue some gentle movement. I'm going to choose not to use my arms and just kind of sway without really trying to do anything or accomplish anything, but just, again, that rhythmic movement with breath. Take a few more rounds here in whatever way you might be exploring. I'm going to reposition myself briefly. Good to see you, Emily. And then keeping the legs lifted, letting your eyes open if they've been closed. So again, if you had that suggestion of a block or a little pillow, I'm going to put it between my thighs, kind of between the knees, so the legs are as closest as they can be with a block. And this is just a preference for my lower back. And then I'm going to invite you to actually roll fully onto your right side, not a twist, but literally roll on your right side. Let your right arm go out to the side, palm up. And then I'm going to stack my left arm over the top, just kind of hover. I'm going to wrap my left arm around my head, open it out to the left side, and then draw it in an arc up toward the ceiling until it stacks again toward the right arm. So just this repetitive movement of the shoulder. And this doesn't have to be a perfect execution of choreography here. And I'm hoping you can think a little bit more about your shoulder range of motion than the twist that is probably starting to occur in your spine. Really let your legs land. And again, that little block between my knees just feels more comfortable to my lower back. Take a few more rounds here. And then I'm going to use my left hand kind of tented near my hips and a push of my right arm to roll me back to center. I'm going to take the block away. I'm going to take a couple of little sways side to side and every so often kick the legs up toward the ceiling. Oh, that feels nice. And then a little rock side to side and a little kick up toward the ceiling. And just doing that a few more times. If you like the legs up, hold them there, just creating a little bit of space. And then we'll find that same kind of offering to the other side. So I'm going to keep my legs lifted, block between, as that's just a preference I enjoy here. And then again, rolling really fully onto your left side. Left arm out from the shoulder, palm up. And then right arm again will kind of hover and then start to wrap around your head and open to the right side. And your arm doesn't have to stay straight. I am taking kind of an arc toward the ceiling to bring it back just to get a bunch of directions in that shoulder. But again, don't worry about kind of exact positions of arm. And again, I hope there's a little bit more noticing of what your shoulder is experiencing here rather than trying to create some amount of twist in your body. Take a few more breaths, knowing that sometimes the slower you move, the more you can notice. And then again, I'm going to bring my right hand to kind of tent fingertips near my body, turn my left palm down to push with both arms to bring me back. If you want to, I'm going to take that block away, take another couple of sways and maybe extend the legs, giving yourself a few more breaths with some length in your body. Heels to the ceiling. You could bend and extend both legs. You could even walk on the ceiling. Take any little movements here that create some space in your body. And then from knees bent one more time, let's create momentum that will bring you up to be seated. You could rock and roll over to one side like we were just doing and push with your arms. You could roll along your spine with a little kick and momentum. And we'll meet facing the top of the mat. Hello again, jazz hand day. And we'll plant both feet slightly wider than the hips. Take a few moments here to just kind of feel a position of your body that feels comfortable, where you're sitting pretty tall, where you can plant the feet. I'm going to face you, just kind of feeling some space in your hips. And then can we drop the left knee open, kind of half butterfly-like? And I'm going to grab gently the inside of my right leg. I'm going to elbow bend my left arm and create some rotations of my torso toward my right leg and open. So it's a kind of interesting setup of the legs. So this is a little yoga multitasking here. We have hips working differently on both legs. Noticing your spine, noticing your left shoulder. Try to keep your spine long. So even as you round, try not to cave in. And then when you're ready, when you face the front next, I'm going to just extend both legs straight. They're kind of out to the corners a little bit. I'm going to wiggle my sitting bones and sit really tall. And then I'm just going to kind of gently teeter at the waist forward and back. Just a little stretch here. I like to think of this as a initial conversation between your lower back and your hamstring. So just this careful hinge where I'm not caving in my back, I'm not jutting my ribs forward, but just this little soft hinge. And then the next time you shift back, let's help both knees bend. Create a little moment again where you're feeling like you can sit pretty tall. And then right knee will drop. Left hand to the inside and make adjustments as to how everything's positioned here. Right elbow will bend and we'll open to the right and then draw right elbow kind of toward your left leg. You're, again, not trying to create any certain amount of distance here. It's just this movement with a lot of little subtle pieces to notice. A slightly different position that we've never explored before. Taking some deeper breaths. And then whenever you feel ready, I'm going to kind of unwind to the front. This time I'm going to straighten the legs straight out from my hips. I'm going to give them a little wiggle. And I am going to try that hinge again. This is a time where I actually have to bend my knees slightly. So I do find it really challenging for my hamstrings to be straight. Otherwise I bend my back. So I'm just going to hinge again a couple more times with a little bent knees if that feels good. And then I'm going to rebend the knees, plant the feet. I'm going to take a couple of windshield wipers as a quick rinse out for the back and as my way to go to tabletop. So to whichever direction might make more sense, you could drop both knees, kind of lift up, land the hands, and then unwind your body. Or you can come to tabletop pose however you like. We'll start to face the top of your mat, but having your body be really positioned in the middle. Spread the fingers wide, feel the ground beneath you, and let's move through your spine as we do every practice, cows and cats or anything else that feels right. These movements are so important to getting the spine prepared for practice, and sometimes it's a great place where I get my mind back into practice. Where there's familiarity here, you might even close your eyes and let this almost be a meditative series of movements. And then when you're ready, we'll just reposition this slightly to find similar movements of the spine. So I'm going to pause in tabletop, curl my toes under, take the hands forward, soften the ribs down toward your thighs as you lift your tailbone, puppy pose type position. But then I'm going to cow and cat from here. So I'm going to kind of drop a little bit more my ribs toward the floor and then lift up, round up, tuck the chin. So just finding a little added movement with that really nice press through the hands. And then let's soften into puppy pose, kind of your sweet spot right in the middle. Maybe you try to tent the fingertips and lift the palms off the floor just to see what that might do for an added stretch in your upper body. It's just an idea, not a requirement. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's shift our weight up and forward, shoulders over wrists. You might have to walk the hands a little closer. Uncurl your toes, knees are down. You're in a low plank position. If you're okay going to the belly, I'm going to have you choose how to get there. You might hug the elbows in and lower straight like a push-up. You might peel as you bend the elbows and peel your front body down, kind of thighs, pelvis, ribs, then chest, whatever feels better to your back. If not on the belly, head to tabletop. Finding variations of cobra from the ground if you're there, or if you're in tabletop, I'd encourage you to come to the forearms and find movement of your spine, cows and cats, just to give your wrists a break and create a different perspective. If you would like to find some spontaneous shoulder movements from the ground, hands go wide, tent the fingertips, and find some snaking movements of your upper body where you lift through a little cobra and you drop one shoulder. You can do the same from tabletop. I'm beginning to really enjoy this offering almost every practice just to kind of see where tension might be living today. And then when you're ready, can we reconnect back in tabletop? Take your time to get there in whatever way is working for you. And once you're back in tabletop pose, we're gonna do a step through to a low lunge today. So I'm actually gonna grab my blocks and elevate my hands. You can use your dumbbells instead. You don't need anything, but just be super mindful of how the back kind of responds as we move here. So I'm in tabletop pose with my hands elevated. And then we'll start by lifting the right leg. Maybe you stretch it long. Maybe you bend the knee and you let the hip open. Maybe you find some circles at the hip. This is just kind of your time to find any movement with that right leg off the ground. Try to keep your shoulders pretty level. And again, your leg could be straight. There can be a lot of benefit from that lengthening. And then could we start from a bent right knee to start to draw the knee toward the right elbow and then just kind of reset. So I'm just going to crunch right knee toward right elbow. Just kind of notice how that feels in your back and your spine, trying not to wiggle through your back. Can you pause right knee toward right elbow? You might lean slightly to the left. We're going to try to step that right foot near your right hand. You can help it if need be, and we rise up, lift up, low lunge. Can you make this boxy? So more of that 90-90 where your weight is back over your left knee. I'm going to reach both arms forward, palms facing one another. I'm going to open my right arm in a circle toward the back of the room and gently twist to the right, and then just kind of sweep it horizontally to meet back out in front. So an arc takes it around behind, and then feeling that draw back to the front. So as you do this, clearly we're moving the shoulders. There is some rotation happening in your spine. Can you keep your hips pretty stable here? And then the next time that you're back to facing forward, hands to heart, I'm going to encourage you to walk your right foot a little further forward, and I'm going to combine a sweeping up low crescent lunge with a airplane arm half split. So lifting up, lengthening, just softening forward a bit, and then sweeping back, kind of hinging at the waist. Remember, we practiced that on the ground. So as you come into that half split, your spine is still really strong. Just take a few more rounds here. We're going to mimic some of this when we're standing. And then the next time you're in your lunge, hands come to heart. Let's walk your right foot back so you can be on both knees toward the back of your mat. We'll take a breath up and we'll carefully hinge to tabletop, where you may have to then temporarily move your blocks or dumbbells out of the way and give yourself a few added movements. I'm going to do some cows and cats and movement in tabletop, and then perhaps you join me in a child's pose. If you need a little extra here, if you need a cobra variation or some added movement for your spine, take it. Note if you're joining me in child's pose that you might feel a little uneven because we did just quite a bit for one side of the body only. Take a breath in, soothing breath out, and then we'll make our way back to tabletop pose. So same thing, second side. So again, maybe you can kind of see where it helped me to have elevation under my hands. Feel free to do the same. And then whenever you're ready in tabletop, whether you have elevation or not, left leg will lift. You might kick it long again for a few breaths. You might bend the knee. You might stack and open. You might circle. I hope we've had just enough time between sides that you have hip movement amnesia and you don't remember at all what you did the other side. Isn't that nice to do whatever you want right here? And then from that slight bend of the knee, start to draw left knee toward left elbow, and then just kind of reset just a little bit. So you're using your obliques, kind of the side of your body, noticing if it feels like your back is shifting. And then we'll see if we can draw left knee toward left elbow. You might lean slightly to step that left foot. You can help with your hand, and we're going to rise up again to what feels like a boxy low lunge. So your left foot might be a little closer to the back of your mat than usual. Hips stacked over your right knee, both arms forward, palms face one another. Sweep your left arm up in a circle to help you twist and open to the left, and then bring the arm back around and through. And again, just acknowledge your left shoulder here. This doesn't have to be this perfectly straight arm. It doesn't have to be done in exactly that way, but just trying to create a lot of direction here for the shoulders. You're getting that little twist, but trying to keep your hips pretty stable. The next time that you're facing the front, hands to heart, I'm going to walk my left foot a little further forward to create some more space. And perhaps you take that sweeping up low crescent to airplane arm, half split. So a little bit of dynamic movement here today. I hope after a few breaths, you kind of stop thinking about the shapes and you're just moving, using some breath to partner. And then when you feel ready, I'm going to reconnect more in that upright lunge position to bring more weight to my right knee so I can carefully bring my left knee to join. And then we'll take another rinse. Big breath out. Thoughtful hinge brings you to tabletop, where again, you might have to move your blocks or dumbbells. And then take some time to breathe and move. Do you want some added time? Do you want to head to the belly and take a cobra variation? Did your body really enjoy that puppy pose from tented fingertips? You could come back there. Maybe you're ready for another child's pose, especially if you did so the last time. It might be a place to check in and see how that child's pose feels now. What do you need right here? Physically, even emotionally, what is the place where you can land to just serve this version of you right here? Big breath in. Let it release. We'll make our way back to tabletop and we'll head to stand. We just have one transition to help us get to standing today. So I'm going to set one block out in front, offer to find a downward facing dog along the way. If so, really spread your fingers wide, press down into the ground, curl your toes under, feel that lift just like puppy pose. And I tend to be a wrist roller outer in downward facing dog. So can you press down through index finger and thumb? Let your head shake yes and no. Continue to energize your low ribs toward your thighs. And if you're not feeling like this is restorative, keep the knees down and enjoy your puppy pose. And then if you're in puppy, lift the knees. If you're in downward dog, bend the knees a little bit. Look to where you're going. Let's walk with purpose, maybe with some stretch. Hands will leave the ground as you're ready. And I'm going to press my hands into my block. You could press them into shins or thighs. Could you be more knee bent than maybe you think you need to be to find a lot of length in your spine? You could stay here and do what we call little elephant walks, where you kind of bend one knee more generously than the other. You might pull into a rag doll. Anything that you need with, again, this kind of moment where there's a dialogue to check in with between your hamstrings and your back. Let's stand when you're ready in the way that makes sense. You could roll up head last. You could drop hips and lead with your chest and your heart. Making your way upright, taking some time to just feel an expansive breath. And then when you're ready, I'm actually just going to make sure my blocks are kind of off to either side, just to give myself clearance to move my limbs. We're going to recreate a little bit of what we did on the ground. So from feet hip distance, rooting down through your left foot, let's lift and stair step the right knee. Know that the height of the knee doesn't matter, but I do hope you're kind of holding it steady with your hip flexor, so use that strength. If it helps to go near something to touch, feel free. Both arms in front, palms forward. Once again, right arm, sweep it behind you, open to the right, and then bring the arm back to meet in front. Now, we got balance. We have yoga multitasking, big time here. I find if I turn my head to look with the twist, it does make it more challenging. So you can try to just stay looking forward. That usually helps me feel more stable. When you're ready, hands at heart, start to hinge so you can send the right leg back, land it flat about 2/3 of the way from the top of your mat. Check your stance. Wide feet, left and right, left toes forward, right foot angled. We're going to somewhat mimic what we did on the ground. Let's have left hand at the small of your back, trying to kind of turn your hips forward. My right arm is at my side, palm forward. I'm going to hinge like a pyramid variation, sweep my right arm to the back of the room, then sweep my right arm up, lift up, stretch up, and maybe peek over my left shoulder, a variation of exalted warrior. And I'm going to go back and forth. So a hinge, I hope you find a little glimpse of hello left hamstring, and then a big stretch up. You might even give a little bit of a back bend into your body as you come into that exalted warrior variation. Once again, I hope you just find a few breaths here where you're just moving and breathing. And then when you feel ready, we'll pause with a lift of the body, hands to heart. Can you step or walk your right foot like halfway up and then flip the toes upside down? So I find kind of the farther the foot is away from my left foot, I get a different stretch. You can bring the foot really close. I find more stretch in like the shin the farther the leg is, and more kind of emphasis across the toes and the top of the foot when the foot is closer. And then when you're ready, right foot next to left. We're going to take a little intermission. I'm going to set one of my blocks right in front, highest setting. And I'm going to encourage you to take a wider stance. You might even have feet kind of slightly off of your mat. I'll face you. My toes are out just a little bit from my heels. I'm going to start to bring my hands to my thighs and bend into my knees, and I'm going to cow and cap my spine here. So I'm going to lengthen the legs, kind of tucking around my back, and then bend into the knees and lift my chest a bit. And as you do this, you might consider, depending on how much space your hips have, that you start to bring your hands to your block and you lengthen without changing your spine. So now I'm going to bend the knees and extend the legs, but I'm going to keep my back flat and strong the whole time. No more cows and cats. And just again, check in. Hamstring lengthening, the legs do not have to straighten fully. Take a few more rounds of breath. And then I'm going to go from bent knees to heeling, toeing my feet a little closer. Maybe you take a quick pass at ragdoll, or you start to rise yourself up right away. We meet standing when you're ready. Take your time. Again, the way that you want to get there, head last, or maybe reverse swan dive. We were a little upside down for a moment there, so let that land. And then we'll find our second side. So I'm going to move my blocks again, just kind of out of the way of my feet, rooting down through your right foot to lift and stair step the left knee. And just notice getting yourself rooted down without any expectation. Arms forward, palms face one another. Left arm circles toward the back of the room. Maybe you look to the left and then bring the arm back to meet the right. So again, mimicking what we did in our lunge, but now with balance. The best thing about this is I hope, because you have so many things to think about, that that's all you're doing. You are thinking about your body right here on your mat. There's nothing else that matters. When you feel ready, bringing your hands back to your heart, sweeping the left leg long behind you, land the foot about 2/3 distance from the front. Separate your feet again, left and right. So as we move here through the hips, we want to make sure we have hip distance feet, right foot forward, right hand to the small of your back. My left arm is going to be at my side again, kind of palm facing the front. That helps open the chest. And I'm going to hinge at the waist, kind of stretch my nose out over my toes. And then as I rise up, lift the left arm, and maybe you gently twist to the right. And that twist doesn't mean the whole body has to turn. Sometimes I just give a little peek over my right shoulder. Maybe my right shoulder turns back a little bit. But again, I hope after a few breaths that you're just moving. You could even close your eyes. That makes it more balancy. But don't worry about what the shapes are, what they look like. Just feel that steadiness at your lower back. And whenever you're ready, we'll meet top of mat, facing the top of your mat. Step your left foot about halfway up and check in with that foot stretch on the left side. And as you settle in with the foot maybe farther back or maybe closer, can you hear the little head dance music in the background? Oh, it's got such a good head dance beat, and we're perfectly positioned to do that. No? Just me? Okay. And then we'll step left foot up next to right. Give yourself a little wiggle or a little shake. I'm going to face away from you on purpose. Can you take your arms out to the sides, palms forward? Then rotate at the shoulder, palms to the back, thumbs down, and then bend at the elbows so both tops of hands come to the small of your back. And then one arm at a time, I'm going to sweep my right arm back up toward the ceiling, bend the elbow and take a little side bend. And then I'm going to rewind, have it meet at the small of my back, and then left arm. So now if you're kind of catching that little subtlety as your arms sweep up, your shoulder rotates because the top of your hand will eventually face the back of your neck. Can you check in as you do this? Is your chin jutting forward? Can you draw your chin back and keep your back really straight to just find your authentic range of motion? And then when you feel ready, we'll just unwind briefly. And I'm going to offer as we come back down through our potential ragdoll that maybe you do so from a clasp of the hands if you'd like to. So if that feels available and ragdoll has felt welcome in your spine, perhaps I like to bend my knees a lot and then take that fold over with this shoulder floss stretch. You do not have to engage in this. Your hands can be down. You don't have to be in ragdoll. So this is for you to remind yourself kind of what is the way that serves your body here. If you still have the clasp, let's release. Take a few more breaths here to maybe lift your heart, bend your knees, and let's make our way back to tabletop pose. No rush. Back away from the top of your mat and take what other added movements would serve you here. Your final opportunity to do what we call our flow, our rinse of movements in any way that's feeling right to your body. Cows, cats, time on the belly. Maybe you could use one more pass at a downward facing dog. Maybe your body says, yep, that child's pose is exactly the destination that I'm looking for. I encourage you to come to that moment where we pause. We've had a lot of time today where we've been constantly moving. And what an interesting dichotomy then to land. Just land. Come back to noticing the breath moving in your body, to feel an exhale that relaxes your jaw. And then we'll start to make our way up and through tabletop pose. So we can come to sit, and we'll bring feet back toward the top of the mat. We're going to head to our back, and we're going to take advantage of some of the hip opening that we've done and take just a slightly different variation on a twist that we've never done. So I'm just going to make sure I have things out of the way, but anything else that you want to have nearby as we come to soothe and lie down. And then making your way from sitting upright to being on your back. I like to hold my legs. Sometimes I find it to almost like a quest to see if I can peel each part of the spine down on its own. But making your way to your back, taking some time to find that connection back with the ground. What does that feel like to be held? You can put anything down that you'd like to here. Even putting down some of the energy that it's taken to find some of our poses today. Or maybe you're realizing there's been some mind chatter and you're really looking forward to putting something down more mentally right now. Let it go. I'm just going to give bent knees just a little sway, almost like a mini massage of the lower back one more time. And then we're going to start by creating half happy baby. I'm going to reposition myself and we'll take it into a twist. So I have both feet planted, knees bent slightly wider than the hips. I'm going to bring a little hug of my left knee toward the chest and then extend the lower leg toward the ceiling. I have a little bend in the left knee. For me, I like one hand above the knee, one hand below, and I'm just going to gently draw the hip out to the side as I bend the knee. So it's almost like I'm trying to bring my thigh parallel to the floor. Now, when I do this, my left leg just kind of drifts open. Did I say left? My right knee just kind of drifts open. Just kind of acknowledging this hip opening moment. I got to make sure we do have our left leg in the air, don't we? Okay. And then let's roll into a twist from here. So start to roll on your right side. Let your right bent knee land and start to hold and guide your left knee across with your right hand. So you're kind of in a staggered 2 knees bent twist. And that's just a suggestion. You can readjust how the legs are positioned here for this twist. My left leg is not landing on the ground. I'm just feeling that space in the body. Take a full breath in to lengthen your spine and a big breath out. And then I'm going to use arms, core, kind of everything to help me roll back to the center. What do you need? I like to plant the feet and give a little wiggle. Maybe it would feel nice to actually lengthen one leg and then the other, or even a full body stretch. So we've had a lot of kind of bent knees, hip flexor action today. And then we'll start to find that second side. So both feet planted, knees bent, right knee toward the chest. Hopefully that's the other side. And extend the leg toward the ceiling. And again, one hand above the knee, one hand below, and just start to gently kind of guide the hip out to the side so the knee goes wider and maybe closer to the floor. And again, my grounded knee is just kind of drifting open to just create some space there. Take a few more breaths. And then this starts to shift as a twist to the left. So I'm going to start to roll onto my left side, let my left knee land, switching to guiding my right bent knee with my left hand to just kind of roll into this somewhat knee staggered twist. Not worrying about exact position of anything, but taking just these moments, these breaths where things feel soothing and soft. A few more breaths that have you melt a bit into the floor. And when you feel ready, we'll use a little push again through arms, a little help of your core to bring you back to the center. Again, a suggestion might be extending one leg out switching, or maybe taking a full body stretch if that feels available. And if it does, I like my legs kind of long to the diagonals. Maybe you reach your arms overhead and take up some space here in this big, opening, expansive moment for your body. Letting yourself exhale a little heavier into the floor. Taking a moment where we seal our time together. From wherever your body is positioned, maybe you bring one hand toward your belly, one hand over your heart. Maybe you even give a little rub across both areas, that center, your center core, that instinctual you and your heart space, sharing gratitude for yourself for making this time for practice. It is here where I will close in the hopes that you can extend your rest. Thank you so much for making the time and space to join me and one another for practice today. As always, the love and light in me sees, honors, and bows in gratitude to the love and light in each and every one of you. Namaste.